Hello, this is Jennie at Designs with Paper. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. I have a card making video for you, and I will be using some leftovers from last week's art journal page. So last week I had used this Simon Says stamp etched tall leaf spray die to create the focal point for my art journal page. And originally I had intended to use two, and I could not get both of them to look how I wanted on the page. I will link that video right up here at the top. So I have decided to go ahead and just make a card with this leaf spray. I am using the same acrylic paints. These are some that I purchased on Amazon some time ago, and they are shades of blue and green with gold undertones, and they shimmer kind of mica-y maybe, or yeah, I don't know what the right word is or what makes them shimmer, but they're beautiful, and they have some gold undertones. So I am going to take this very fragile, very flimsy leaf spray and add some paint to it. And I will actually go back and dab that off a little bit. It was a little bit more pronounced or stronger than I wanted it to be. And then I took off too much. So I am going to put some more paint, there we go, paint, down onto my craft mat, add a little bit of water, and this time I will use a paintbrush. And I will kind of dab that paint onto the leaves. And I like how that turned out. That was more what I was going for. I am going to go ahead and use my heat tool to dry this leaf spray. I am working on my Teflon craft mat. This Teflon craft mat is made up of the same kind of thing as the oven liners you can put in your oven to keep it clean, so it can withstand quite a bit of heat. So, excuse me. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that die cut is completely dry on the front and back. If it's wet, then I will not be able to get adhesive to stick to it, and I'll have a hard time getting it to attach to my card. And now that this is dry, I am going to go ahead and start working on the panel for my card front. I am making a slimline card, and slimline cards are 8.5 inches by 3.5 inches. So this piece of watercolor paper is 8 1/4 inches long and 3.5 inches tall. And I will be using this Gonzai Tombi Starry Colors watercolor set and the acrylic paints that I used to color the leaves. And I will also add some Distress Oxide ink into the mix. So the first thing I want to do is put a little bit of that acrylic paint down on my craft mat and add some water and get it splooshing. I don't know. I'm going to do a little bit of ink splatting, but I'm using paint. I am just going to smash this paper, the watercolor paper, down into that wet acrylic paint and let it kind of do its thing. Let the water kind of move the paint around. I will use my rag to clean up the edges and the big drips, but I want the paint to just move around and create like an organic look to it. And I am going to go ahead and dry it with my heat tool before I add another layer. With acrylic paints and some other types of inks, like the Distress Oxide inks, you can add layers on top of dry layers and not get that muddy mixture that happens when you just add wet paint together. So I am going to smush down this dark green Distress Oxide ink. It is the new green one, Rustic Wilderness or something like that. And then I also put a little bit of blue down in there. I think it was like the Chip Sapphire. No, Chip Sapphire is too dark. I don't know, a light blue. I don't know what color it was. And I added some water, and I am just going to smash the watercolor paper down into that wet ink and then dry it, because then I can add another layer on top of it, and instead of blending together, I will just get another layer of texture and color. This is Peacock Feathers, I believe. It's a turquoise blue. And same thing, I just added some water. I will smush the paper down into it. I'm cleaning up the big drips. I don't want huge puddles of water. I want that layered color look that you can get with watercolor if you're way more patient than I am. And again, I'm just going to go ahead and dry that off. And then I will add a little bit more of the acrylic paint. And I wanted to top it off with the acrylic paint because of the shimmery or shininess that the acrylic paint has. So these paints, I will see if I can find them on Amazon still and link them down below. They have kind of a gold mica powder to them, or mica. I don't know if mica's even the right word. They have a gold undertone to them, so they shimmer and shine in the light. And I wanted to make sure that that was the top layer had that shimmer to it. Same thing, adding water, smushing it down, adding more water, making it more runny, smushing it down. It is a very organic looking texture shapes on the top of this watercolor paper. And I feel like my camera has slipped down just a little bit off of its boom thing over my desk, so it's angled kind of weird. I'll have to make sure and fix that before my next video. But here we go. I am nearly finished with this, and I'm really liking how all of these layers are looking. And I will go ahead and dry this off just a little bit. The next layer I am going to add are watercolors. And I will be using those Gonzai Tombi Starry watercolors. It is a set of 6 watercolors, and they are all shades of gold. And they, let's see if I can get it open here and tell you the names of the watercolors. Oh, they're stuck inside the package. They are blue gold, red gold, yellow gold, champagne gold, light gold, and white gold. Light gold and white gold. And I will be using that second one from the left. It is red gold because third one from the left, the yellow gold, because it's the one that matched the undertone of the acrylic paints the most. Here I am making tons of noise fiddling with them on my desk. Sorry about that. This is not an ASMR video. I am taking a paintbrush and just tapping that brush on my finger to create some inks or paint splats. And then I figured, why not just smash it in? That's what I've been doing all day anyway. Just smush that paper down into the ink. Add a little bit more water, add for the drips. And it's so shiny and pretty. It's like almost Tiffany blue with shiny gold stuff. I mean, what more could you want, right? Watercolor will dry just perfectly with the heat tool, and it does not change the shimmeriness of those gold watercolors. I don't know, plural. And as I hold this up in the light, you can see the shimmeriness of it, and it is so pretty. I love it. It turned out so pretty. I now need to add the leaf, and I decided that with all of the texture going on, the only proper way to mount this leaf spray to the card base or the card panel was to use foam tape. So I have cut off a little strip of tape, and I am cutting these little tiny pieces, and I will add one to each leaf, even the teeny tiny ones at the top. And then I will go ahead and fidget and fiddle with those backing paper and cut all. Ooh, that took a minute. I edited that out. Don't worry. It did take a hot minute to get the backing paper off all those little foam pieces. And then I will just go ahead and adhere it to the card panel there. Like I said before, this is a slimline card, so when it is all finished, it will measure 8.5 inches long and 3.5 inches tall. I am going to work on the sentiment here. I am using this Gina K Designs little hello stamp set. The first thing I want to do is stamp out that hello stamp, and I will be using Versamark ink so that I can heat emboss this sentiment in gold embossing powder. I am using my little embossing buddy bag. It kind of puts a powder down on the paper that prevents the embossing powder from sticking to anything but the wet ink, like the oils in your hands and just the humidity in the air, because I live in a rather humid part of the country. I'm using Versamark ink. It is a wet, sticky ink, and this is either Stampin' Up! Or Tailored Expressions Fine Detailed Gold Embossing Powder. Fine Detailed Embossing Powder works really, really well for those really fine lines of the sentiment. I'm just going to funnel that back down in and heat set this, and then I have pulled out another sentiment from that stamp set. It says, "How have you been?" So this is a "Hello, how have you been" card that I can send out to somebody that I haven't seen for a minute. The footage for the card assembly is gone. I don't know if I actually ever turned the camera back on. But here are some photographs of the finished card, and it turned out beautifully. I love the contrast between the leaf and the background, even though they are colored with the same shades of color. I think it turned out just perfect. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I have added some other videos here for you to watch today, and for sure I will link to that art journal page. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel, and if you have not done so already, please subscribe and share. Have a great day.